Greetings, environmental science scholars, and welcome to the first Photoshop Friday of the year. Today, we're going to continue the tradition of applying some of the concepts that we're exploring in class and creating visual representations using Photoshop. So, here are a few pretty cool examples from last year. What are we doing today, and why are we doing it? Well, you'll think back to a couple days ago when we were talking about Earth systems and we discussed hydrospheres, the water cycle, composition of the atmosphere, but we also talked about biospheres, specifically biomes. We're going to be taking another look at this visual and producing something a little bit more compelling for Ms. Price to use in upcoming lectures. Maybe something that looks a little bit like this. So you're going to have a template in your Google Classroom that actually looks like this. We're going to superimpose lots of different examples of each biome, namely the tundra, desert, and so on and so forth. First, however, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the interface of Photoshop. And when we look on the left side of the screen, we've got lots of tools. We're only going to be using two tools today, specifically the Move tool and this rectangular marquee to be creating selections. It's a pretty cool tool. Additionally, you're going to want to learn the technique of zooming in and out. To do that, you're going to press and hold Command and then press plus 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 or minus 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 to zoom out. And when we draw our attention to the right side of the screen, we've got our layers palette, and I can see that we've got this top layer, which I'm actually going to hide for a second. So this is what I provide for you, and this is what I added a moment ago, and you're going to be doing something very similar in just a moment. And here we've got all these different layers. How do we produce this? How do we start? Well, the first thing that you're going to need to do is open this template in Photoshop. Again, you're going to find it in Google Classroom. And then you've got to find examples of each biome. So you're going to do a quick image search, and I pulled up examples of tundra, rainforest, deserts, and coral reef. We're going to do the left side of this pretty nifty, kind of like a graphic organizer, right? So this looks pretty cool. We're going to right click, we're going to copy the image, we're going to return to Photoshop, and now we're going to press Command V. Again, this is our tundra, and I know you're thinking, Rose, this is pretty big. We need to shrink this down, and you're right. Before we do that, however, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to drop this layer beneath the top layer, earth layer. You see that? So there's a relationship between what we see on the screen in the composition and in the layers palette. Whatever on top in here is on top in the composition. So we now need to reduce the size. To do that, you're going to press Command T, and then you're going to hold Shift and grab a corner. And actually, we can do something that looks a little bit like this. And I think, yeah, there we go. And I'm actually going to have it skewed just a little bit so we see a little bit more of this tundra. And so I'm happy with this. Once we change the size of our layer, we're going to press check. And now you might be thinking, Droz, that's a cool visual of the tundra, but it's bleeding over into the desert. And you were right. I'm remembering that we're layer 1. This tundra is layer 1, and we're still on that layer. I'm going to return to the left side of the screen. And we've got right beneath the Move tool, we've got this rectangular marquee. What we're going to do is we're going to select that. And then I'm going to left click and drag. So I'm holding down, and I'm going to drag over that area that I want to delete. And to delete it, we're going to look to our keyboard, we're going to press delete, and boom, it's gone. To deselect, we're going to press Command D. All right, so maybe that was a lot. Let's do it a few more times, and I think you're going to get the hang of it. Here we've got a tropical rainforest. This looks cool, sure. We're going to right click, we're going to select left click, copy, Command V, and I don't even see this image, but what I do know is that it's behind the earth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it above the earth by left clicking and dragging. Boom, it's there. There we go. I'm going to switch to the Move tool. I'm going to then shift it over. That looks great. And now I'm going to return to Layers palette. I'm going to drag layer 2. This desert. This is not the desert. Here's the tropical rainforest. All right. We're going to shift right here. We're going to pull out the rectangular marquee. We're going to make a selection. We're going to press delete. We're going to make another selection. And if we press delete and then Command D to deselect, and all of a sudden we've got this beautiful tropical rainforest. Here's the desert. We want something that looks pretty cool. I like this. Right click. We're going to do copy image. We're going to do Photoshop, Command V. I don't see it, so we're going to drag this layer above. Beautiful. I'm going to use the Move tool. We're going to shift this over. We're going to drop it beneath that top layer, and I like that right there. We're going to do the rectangular marquee, make a quick selection, delete, delete, Command D, and then finally the coral reef. Here we go. Let's find something that looks pretty nifty. And this is going to be pretty large in size, I suspect. And when we press Command V, yeah, there we go. So we can see it right there. I'm going to shift it over, and I like it right there. So we're going to, again, rectangular marquee, create a selection, delete, create a selection, delete, and Command D to deselect. Finally, how do we add our name? Because you want to put your stamp not only on this project, but on the planet. And to do that, you're going to click the type tool. You're going to select that once. You're going to want to make sure that white is selected. So I've got white in the foreground. And you're going to write simply your name. I'm going to write Rose. I'm going to do enter for a line breaker. Then you're going to write 2017. Boom. You're going to press check to confirm, just like when we're resizing an image. To confirm the size, we're going to press check. That looks great. All right, so you guys are going to finish the other half, obviously. To save this and submit it, you're going to go to File. You're going to go to Save As. And we're going to save this as first name biome, and not as a Photoshop file, but as a JPEG file. So we've got Dro's biome JPG. We're going to click Save. We're going to click OK. Then you're going to submit that to Google Classroom. We're going to take a look at your work at the end of the period. I'm really excited. Can't wait to see your work. Good luck.